Hello everyone, welcome back to the 80slashers.com YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to pick up where a couple previous videos left off, and we're going to, I guess this is like part 3 in a little mini series, where I count down my top 10 films in terms of the three major elements that I've always said make up an 80s slasher. The first video I did, which I will link below, was the top 10 locations for a slasher film. And then the next video I did, which I will also link below, is the top 10 films, 80 slasher films for nudity. And in today's video, what I will discuss is the top 10 films, 80 slasher films, for kills. Yeah, so these are the three main elements I've always said really make an 80s slasher an 80s slasher. The kills, the gratuitous nudity, and the location, the setting. These things is really what makes this subgenre what it is. So for today's video, in terms of talking about kills, basically what these are based on, they're based on, the practical effects used to make the kills. They're based on the uniqueness, the creativity of them, whether they're, the weapons that are used, or the locations that they're used, or like sometimes the environment, just the creativity in that the filmmakers have used in the kills. And you know what? Some of these are basically, just like anything, are going to be based on just pure nostalgia for me. Some of these films I grew up watching so many times, and it's just the kills are so great, so iconic that um, that plays a part of it for me. So yeah, so I'm gonna do a top 10 here. Like I said, there's tons of other 80 slasher films that could have been on this list, but again, this is just the ones that I picked that are, that fit the criteria for me. So obviously it's just my opinion, based on just my experiences with these films. So yeah, so before we begin, I'm just gonna say there's probably gonna be spoilers, because it's really difficult to talk about these films, and in particular the kills in these films, um, without talking about some minor spoilers. I like to put some pictures, either up here or up in the top corner here. So I'll probably do that with some of the kills as well. So if you don't want to get any of these kills spoiled for you, you may want to, I don't know, go back and watch them all. I don't know. I just it won't be too bad. I'm not going to talk about. I'll try to not talk about plot points, as much as I can. But there'll be some images, and by the time you go back and watch these films, you'll forget the images anyway. So I think it's okay. But just fair warning. Little spoiler alert there. All right, so let's get into it. Number 10, as you can see, a film I just did a review on. A video, I believe my previous, well, yeah, one of my previous videos, I just talked about this film. I also just wrote a review, which has been posted yesterday on the website, so I'll link to all that below in the video here. But yeah, from 1981, My Bloody Valentine. Now this, of course, is based on the uncut version of this film, so if you're not familiar, for the longest period of time, this film, the MPAA censors butchered it all to hell. They took out a lot of the good parts of the kills. But now that we're getting this new this film re-released, this is from Scream Factory here. We get basically the full film, all the cuts remastered, put back in the film, and it's fantastic. Some of the memorable kills within this. There's a kill. It's more of an after effect kill, but there's an older lady who was put in a like a clothes dryer, and when the door is open, you see her kind of tumbling around her body, and she's all heated up and melted and chewed to bits, and very graphic, very good. I think one of the most iconic kills in this film, there's a girl, um, and she's basically impaled through the back of her skull on a water pipe that's, like a shower head, kind of like that's spraying water. And then as the Harry Warden, the killer, impales her head, the water is like shooting out her mouth. Just so creative, so unique, and she just, like, it just shows her she's found there hanging, just by her head on a pipe. It's just, yeah, it's really good. It's like I said, it's very creative. There's a really good pickaxe. Like his weapon of choice is like a miner's pickaxe, and of course he kills a bunch of people with this. And there's one that in particular, he takes it and he, like, basically through the bottom of the jaw, he, like, kind of just rams the pickaxe right through the bottom of the jaw, out through, like, the mouth. It's really brutal. And then after the kill, you can see him later in the uncut version dragging the body, to presumably to hide it somewhere. And I think it's still in his head, and he's just dragging him. It's just very brutal, mean spirited. Um, yeah, it's really good. And there's also like a nail gun. A guy, I don't know how you would die from this. I guess if the nails are long enough, it would go into your brain. But one guy is killed with like a nail gun. Um, yeah, it's really creative. The atmosphere of this film, set down in the mine, it really helps with the kills, I found, because it was really well lit. The film was really well lit, and so I don't know, just the atmosphere, the mean spiritedness. Yeah, this is a good one. This has some good kills in the uncut edition. So if make sure you find the uncut edition for sure, because that's definitely where this fits in the ranking. So yeah, so number 10 from 1981, My Bloody Valentine. All right, number 9. I'm gonna cheat a little bit on this one because I'm gonna put two movies at number 9, basically because I feel it's almost like one movie. They're not. Well, here we go. Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, Unhappy Campers, Teenage Wasteland. Um, I view these movies kind of as one. I know they're not. Like, came out in 88, this came out in 89. But they're like, it's the same story, kind of. It's, the continuing story of Angela, played by, was it Pamela Springsteen? And it's just, I don't know, they just feel the same. They have a very similar tone. So I'm just putting them together because the first one is very different. These two are very similar. So yeah, so these kills in this film, they're not super gory. They're not like those other films that are going to be on this list that are like really gory. They show, like if it's a blade kill, they show like the moment of like penetration or impact, and like, these ones don't have that so much. There's definitely some. But why this is on this list is because they're just so, the kills in these films, one, they're like really fun. They just have a fun, humorous tone to them. Even though they're brutal, there's still like a I don't know, a sick humor to them. It just makes them really fun. And two, they're just very inventive and creative. That's similar with the first film. Like the first film, there was some, people getting killed by like a bee's nest and stuff like that. It's very creative, different ways, not just like a knife or a axe or something. There's way more creativity in these kills. In part two, there's like someone's like burned to death, like tied to like a barbecue pit and just like soaked in lighter fluid, and a match dropped on them. They burned to death. And then there's like an outhouse kill. A girl is put in an outhouse down in the hole where you sit on. She's shoved down and like with a stick forced down, and she, like, I guess she drowns in like a, ugh, man, like, just terrible, terrible way to die. But it's funny. Like, I don't know. It's just, these films are just like a weird sense of humor. But yeah, so creative. Just the way that she was killing these people. Um, Part three, I think there's even more of this stuff in part three. There's like someone's run over by like a Mack truck, which is hilarious. Somebody who's like a drug addict who wants to do cocaine is given like I don't know, Clorox or something, like a cleaning chemical. She snorts and dies. Someone is killed by a firecracker. um, Someone else is burned. There's people more burned to death. But the 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 best kill in this film, without a doubt for me, there's a flagpole kill, and a person is like tied to a flagpole, and Angela, like, pulls her up the flagpole right to the top and then just lets it go, and the body just comes down right on its head, splat, and it just and there's a good shot of like the after effect, the gore, there's the bloody remains of the head. So creative, so funny. Yeah, these films are good. There's fantastic kills. Like I said, it's more with the tone, the sense of fun, as opposed to the gore and practical effects. But there is some gore and practical effects. So yeah, number 9 from 1988 and 89, Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. All right. Number 8, we have from 1981, The Burning. Now this is the first entry on the list where the practical effects were done by Tom Savini. Now I think you're going to see a theme in this list, but we will get to them. Yes, The Burning. Um, this this one has great kills, but like the biggest draw, and everyone knows what it is in this film, is what is referred to as the raft scene. Um, the raft scene is just a massacre. It takes place, a little later in the film, and there's a bunch of the campers and counselors on like just a raft, and they're paddling, trying to get away from the killer. And the killer just like jumps up. I think the shadow is from that scene. He just kind of jumps out of the water, and he puts these garden shears over his head, and he just starts killing every single kid on this raft. And I think there's like, I don't know, four or five, six kids, and they all get it. It's like quick. The editing is like go 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 go. It's like really spread together, really like cut together really quickly. But you get some fantastic kills. Some fingers get like a hand gets all its fingers cut off here, and he's holding it up, like looking like this, and it's like blood squirting. Some people get slashed across the forehead, the throat. Oh, and they get like impaled with some of the blades on the garden shears. It's fantastic. Just for that one scene alone, the raft scene, this film is, oh, it's so good. But besides that, there's other really good kills in this. Like I said, the use of the garden shears is a very unique weapon. Very good. It's, yeah, the, Savini was able to utilize this really good. So, um, yeah, I like the kills in this. Like I said, it's not. I would obviously, it's the lowest on this list for the Savini's special effects, practical effects, but it's still good, and the raft scene is just fantastic. So yeah, so number 8 from 1981, The Burning. All right, so number 7 from 1984, we have The Mutilator. This is a this I like this film. It's a silly, fairly low budget slasher. One-time director, Buddy Cooper, first time he ever directed a movie, and I think it's the only one he's ever did. And I read somewhere recently, like this year, that he wants to make a sequel to this, The Mutilator 2, I suppose. So that'd be fantastic. I don't know. We'll see. I doubt that will ever get made. But there's good kills in this. This is they're very mean-spirited kills. This film has a decapitation scene, which is really well done. That's one of the reasons why it's on this list, just because it's one of those scenes that just stands out. Every time you see a decapitation, when it's done, when they show it, when they use practical effects, I feel like it's one of the hardest things to do, so it always gets my attention. So I like this a lot for that. There's a really cool pool scene. Again, it's not super gory, the kills for that pool scene, but it's so atmospheric. There's just like a chick. She's like taking a leisurely night swim in a pool, when the killer gets her, and it's just, I like the kill, like not so much the gore or the practical effects. Just I just like that whole, I don't know, the whole feeling of that scene. But the main event, if anyone has seen this film, usually, like I said, the theme, there's always, some of these films, there's always like one standout kill that really makes it, make this list for me. And in this film, you can see it right here. There's a fish hook, and there's a scene. Um, there there's a scene. A girl, she's on a table. She gets laid down on like a bench or a table or something, and the killer takes this fish hook and he inserts it. Let's use this lovely lady here, and inserts this tip right up there, and he penetrates it right up there with this hook, and then he kind of hooks it, and the hook comes out like, I don't know, maybe pelvic area, belly button, and that's how he kills her. It's terrible. It's so terrible. Obviously, you don't see the initial penetration, obviously, but you do see the after effects of it, of the hook coming out from her pelvic area, and oh, it's just brutal. I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, what? This is crazy. Obviously, a mean-spirited kill. I just totally unnecessary. He could have just put her in the head with this thing, but he chose to go the other direction. Yeah. So this is a good one. I like the kills in this one. So yeah. So that's number 7 from 1984, The Mutilator. All right, number 6 from 1980. The second entry on this list for Mr. Tom Savini, we have the original Friday the 13th. Um, Obviously, anyone who's watched these videos knows this is my favorite 80s slasher of all time, so I had to put it on this list, but it's deserving. It's very deserving. Again, Tom Savini does fantastic practical effects. This is like his earliest entry, obviously, on this list in the 80s slashers. Um, Again, this film is probably more nostalgic for me because I've seen this film so many times. I've seen it from such a young age. These kills just stick in my head. I've seen these kills so many times, but they're fantastic. The highlights, of course. I've always loved there's a character. Her name's Annie, and she's the girl who never really quite makes it to camp, and she's in the woods. The killer gets her in the woods, and she has her throat slit. And I don't. It's very simple. It's nothing. It's just a quick little throat slit, but man, it always affected me because you see the knife go up, you see it slice, and then you see it like her throat like just like open, and the blood comes out. It's just so well done. It just looks, you know, on Blu-ray, not as realistic, but when I first saw this on like VHS, you're just like, oh my goodness, it looks like someone got their throat slit, and it was just always really effective for me. So I know it's not like a big kill, but I just loved that one. So that was one of my favorites in this. Of course, the Kevin Bacon kill is just fantastic. It was surprising, like especially if you're not familiar with the film the first time it happens, you're like, oh, it's kind of a shock value, but just the way the arrow up through the throat, and you hear the stories of Savini and his assistant under the bed, pumping the blood up so it's spewing, and it's fantastic. Kevin Bacon's head, his body's under the bed, just well designed practical effect. Um, I love that. And then of course the big one in this one is the decapitation scene at the end of the film. And again, it's just I love a good decapitation, and this one is done really well, and I just love it. Like, as after the head has been cut off, you see the hands come up, almost like grasping, like, where's my head? Where, like, it just, everything about it is just so good. Um, yeah, I like, what can you say? Tom Savini, Friday the 13th, has to be on this list. I love it. I love the kills in this film. So yeah, number six, 1980, the original and the best, Friday the 13th. All right, number five, and here we go, another Tom Savini film from 1980, 81, depending on release date. Um, we have Maniac. Um, yeah, like I said, another Tom Savini film. The kills, again, a majority of the kills in this film, they're not super gory. They definitely are, but the main attraction to the kills in this film for me is just the the type of kills. They're just really sleazy. Like, the film is just sleazy, it's brutal, it's mean-spirited, it's grimy. All those words describe this film. And the kills, they're just, there's a couple times when he's just like choking the life out of, it's not gory or anything, he's just choking the life out of a woman, or if he's stabbing the woman, and it's just the look on his face. It feels real. Like, when you're watching this film, you're just like, this is, if I was to watch like a serial killer kill people, this is what I would imagine it would look like. Like, not glossy Hollywood stuff. Like, this is so grimy, and I don't know. Just something with the kills are very effective. They're really off-putting. Um, it's great. But of course, so all that is great. That's why it's on here, because they're just very effective kills. But there is again, one highlight kill, and anyone who's seen this film knows exactly what it is. And it's the scene where Tom Savini gets to kill himself with his practical effects, and it's he's not a he's just a secondary character. This is an extra, basically, sitting in a car with a woman, and the killer comes up to the car, jumps on the hood of the car with a shotgun, and literally blows his head off, blows Tom Savini's head off with a shotgun blast, and it shows it, and it's crazy. You literally see an exploding head, guts, skull, brain, just everything. Um, oh man, it's crazy. It's such a good kill. It's the highlight piece for this film, and just for that alone, it's on this list. But again, like, the mean spirited nature of the kills in this film are fantastic. So yeah, number five on the list. I think it's what, the third the third entry from Tom Savini, Maniac. All right. All right, so coming in at number four um, on this list is Pieces. Um, this film, the reason why this film is so high up is just the kills are just so over the top. That's the best way to explain them. They're just so over the top. They're just so wild. They're quite different from anything um, on the rest of this list, just because all the other ones are kind of like the typical American 80s slasher practical effects. This one feels different for some reason, because it has the European feel to it. It's like a Spanish production. Um, and the main weapon of choice is a chainsaw, and um, because of that, like, the kills they're just so like, they're so visceral, because just the sound of the chainsaw, it really unnerves you a little bit. You got the women screaming, you got the blood spraying, but then you got the sound of the chainsaw going. It just put it all together, and the kills are just brutal. Like, they're over the top. Some of the kills are almost cartoonish. But like, you see stuff where, like, he takes a chainsaw, and there's like a girl standing in like a changing room shower, and he just, like, takes a chainsaw and just chops her arm off, and like, the camera doesn't cut away, and you just see, like, the arm fall off and the blood squirting out the socket. It's crazy. Chainsaws taking chunks out of women's waist, and just like, he chops, or he slashes at their waist, and just like a big wound opens up, and guts. It's crazy. It's over the top, but it's so fun. Um, Yeah, and it's great. Like I said, there's a couple really good ones. Like I said, the one it's like he's like a changing room, like a shower changing room scene. That's a fantastic kill. There's one. Oh, what's the one I'm thinking of? Um, I just lost my train of thought. Um, well, anyway, there's another one that's in a waterbed. He basically stabs a woman, and it's brutal. It's so violent. You see him plunging the knife into her back in the waterbed, and it's like the blood and the water. It's just very stylistic, very brutal, very over the top. Yeah, the kills in this film are fantastic. I love this film. It's just wacky. It like I said, it's quite different from the other films on this list. It just feels like a different type of film. But yeah, they're fantastic. Oh, the other one I was thinking of, I just lost my train of thought. There's a kill in like an elevator, like a little tiny elevator, again with the chainsaw, and yeah, it's fantastic. So um, yeah, so Pieces number four, just a really fun one. Yeah, you look at this, you can see like the crazy amount of blood. Every picture. There's even a good one at the beginning that I didn't mention. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Number three, also from 1981, and also from Tom Savini. So this is number four. There's obviously a theme developing here. Number four for Tom Savini, but The Prowler. Um, I I love the kills in this film. Even though this is number three, um, no, I'll get into it later. I don't want to spoil anything. This is yeah, I just love the kills in this film. They're very they're brutal. They're really good. I think Tom Savini is at the top of his game in this film. There's just something about them, the practical effects. It seems like the camera lingers a little more on his practical effects. You get more, um, and they're just I don't know. It seems like he spent more time and spent more money. It just seems like compared to like Friday the 13th and The Burning and Maniac. It just seems like there's more. You get more out of the kills in this film. Some of the standouts. There's a shower scene, and the killer has like a I think like a four-prong pitchfork, and he just keeps stabbing her, and you see the prongs go in. It's brutal, like in a pitchfork, and there's a couple times he uses a pitchfork as a weapon, and it's terrible. What a terrible weapon to use. Oh man, um, it's really good. Probably the highlight of this scene of this film. It's right on the cover here. There's a pool scene when the killer basically it ends with a throat slashing, but just again it's more atmospheric. Um, Man, it's just she's there taking like a midnight swim, and he gets her in the pool, and she fights, and he's struggling, and it ends it with like a throat slash, and the throat slash again, something about throat slashes for me, very visceral, very ugh. You see like the wound open up and the blood come out, and their eyes and the gurgling. Oh, it's just they're terrible. What a terrible way to be killed, I would think. um, but yeah, this is probably the best throat slash I've seen. I'm gonna say it is. This pool scene is brutal. Again, like the lighting and the pool and the sound of the water, and just fantastic. Um, there's a really good of a guy who gets like a bayonet, like basically like a big knife, way through the top of his skull. The knife comes down through the bottom of the jaw. It's whoa, it's and his eyes bulge. It's fantastic, and like you get to see all this. Like I don't know how Savini does it, man, but this is his. I think it's his best work. It's fantastic. And then of course, like I said, this film also has a shotgun to the head kill. And it's again, it's Savini who did it, so I don't know if this one or the Maniac shotgun is better. They're both a little different. The one in Maniac, I think, is mostly filmed from behind the head, so you kind of see the head explode. This one, um, you kind of see it from the front, and the head kind of, I don't know. They're similar, but they're different. I don't know which one. I'm probably gonna go with Maniac is probably the better shotgun blast, but this one is fantastic as well. Again, um, yeah, really good. Um, yeah, so number three from '81, the Prowler. I love the kills in this film. Some people talk about this film as like slow. I've heard people, people who don't like it, I guess, they say it's a slow, I don't know, slow-paced film. I don't know. I like this film. I like it a lot. I love the killer. I love the backstory. And the kills. Like, this is all about the kills for me. This film is fantastic, just for that. So yeah, number three, '81, The Prowler. All right. Number two, from 1989, Intruder. All right, now listen. This is number two, but this is probably based on pure practical effects. Um, this is the film with the best kills, in my opinion, of any '80s slasher. Um, every single kill in this film is just unbelievable. The time and effort, probably the money spent to craft these kills, just unbelievable. Like, just yeah. This is, number one on this list. It has its reasons for being number one. Um, which we'll get to, but in terms of pure practical effects, and violence and just amazingness of the kills, this is probably has the best. Um, I just in the, this film is very unique because it has the camera work in this film. They I don't know, they're experimenting or what, but they would put the camera in all kinds of different places. There was like, because it takes place in a grocery store, which again, this is on my top 10 locations list. So if go check that out, because this location, the grocery store is fantastic. But they would put the camera in like shopping carts. They would put it inside a telephone as someone's talking. They would just use different ways to put the camera. So it was really unique in that way, the camera work. So, but it plays into this, into the kills, because again, some of these kills, the camera, they're putting it in different spots, and it works really well. Some of the highlights, there's like in an office desk is like a little, I don't know, like a little flat thing like this with like a little spike. I guess I don't know what it's called, but you put like, if you get like phone messages or memos, you push the paper on this little spike that stands up. It's probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches, and someone gets their head, their eye, right through the pointy end of that spike, and you see it, and you see the head go down, and it enters the eye, and it's brutal, fantastic. But that's like one of like that in any other film, that would have been like the highlight probably. But in this film, it's like maybe the third or fourth best kill, which is crazy. Then you get probably the second best kill in this film. Is I think it's like a cardboard box compactor. It's like a hydraulic press. I think you put like cardboard boxes, maybe some other types of garbage. You hit the hydraulic lift button, and it just crushes. Well, there's a scene where a guy gets his head in this box compactor, and it shows it like it's brutal, man. It's just the head starts to like and get pressed, and then it just collapses. It just collapses like a cardboard box, and the guts and the bone and the brain. It's so brutal, but it's so great. Again, I think the camera is like inside the box compactor, so you're seeing the back of his head. It's very unique, fantastic. But like any of these films, there's one kill, and again, this is a spoiler because I don't want to spoil too much, but like I kind of have to talk about it. But there's one kill. I believe it's a band saw. Just like a big blade. Um, and a guy gets his head on the bandsaw table, and he basically like takes his head and he like rings it over, and I think you can kind of see right here. This is about where he rings it, and he basically cuts his head in half, right at the teeth. And it's like long, cause like how long would it take you to do that to a head? Like 10, 15 seconds to cut someone's head in half with a bandsaw, and that's how long the scene is. Like it doesn't cut away. It's crazy, man. And like the amount of work and effort to get that scene right, I don't know. It's just so fantastic. The first time I saw this film, I just could not believe the type of kills we were seeing on the screen. It's crazy. So yeah, in terms of practical effects, this is number one. But there's one other film, so we'll get to it. So yeah, so number two, 1989 Intruder. Anyone who hasn't seen this one, this is not a well-known 80s slasher. It's one of my favorites. Every time I bring this in a video, I tell people check it out. This Blu-ray is getting pricey to find, I think. It's from Synapse Films, but find this film. It's so good. The location is amazing. The kills are amazing. It's just this is a good one. This is one of my favorites for sure. All right, number one. Number one from 1984, the fifth and final Tom Savini film. I'm gonna go with Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Um, Again, like I just said, Intruder I feel has the best practical effect kills. This is no slouch. The reason why I have this here is because, again, it's a nostalgic thing. I grew up watching this film. I've seen it so many times from such a young age. These kills just stuck with me. These kills gave me nightmares as a kid. I'd watch these and I just, yeah, this these are fantastic. In terms of, again, for the Tom Savini Friday the 13th films, this is his best work in my opinion. He only did the two, the first one and this one, but I feel like he did the better job practical effects in this film. The only, like I said, I think the Prowler, I think his kills in the Prowler were better than this practical effect wise, but this one just had more. I don't know. I think the creativity, the use of the camera, everything like that, just the type of kills in this film were better. It's a better film. It just, and it's more nostalgic. So that's why this is here. And the Prowlers was what, number three. So they're close. You know, it's Savini's best work for sure. Those two films. Um, but yeah, there's so many good kills. Like every kill in this film is for me is just so memorable. Of course, you got the Crispin Glover, George McFly from Back to the Future. Crispin Glover, his kill in this film. You got you get the corkscrew. And he's yelling to his friend, "Where's the corkscrew? Where's the corkscrew?" And of course, it ends up in his hand, and then he looks up, and he's got like the meat cleaver in his head. I think it was filmed in reverse kind of thing, but it looks really good. That's a good one. He, the near the beginning of the film, was it the doctor? Was it Axel? I think his name was Axel, and he has like the hacksaw against his throat, and he cuts his throat, and then he just kind of like twists the head. Man, that scene's so brutal. I don't know how Savini did that one. Fantastic. It just looks really real. Hacksaw to the throat, twists in the head. Oh, that one's brutal. There's the scene with the naked chick swims out to the raft. Again, it's not super gory, but her just laying in the middle of the dark lake, and the yellow, was it like a yellow raft, and then she gets like stabbed naked. That's a fantastic one. Um, there's like there's the heavy set girl, the hitchhiker, eating the banana. That one's just kind of mean spirited, and you see her at the end. She like squeezes the banana, and it goes all soft and mushy in her hand. That's a fun one. There's the shower. The guy in the shower gets his head crushed up against the shower wall. That's a fantastic one. All the little, like even like the little minor kills are they're just fun. They're just so well done. But of course, the set piece, the biggest and the best effect in this whole film, and you know what? The one I talked about, an Intruder with the bandsaw, is the only other kill that I think comes close. So it's between the bandsaw kill and Jason's death in this film. Those are probably my two favorite kills in all of the 80s slasher. Which one? I don't know. They're close, but this one's more iconic. This one's more nostalgic for me. But I'll tell you, when Corey Feldman takes that machete and he plops it right in Jason's head, maskless Jason, and when he falls to his knees and his head just slides down that machete, man, I don't that. It looks so realistic. It was so good. It was so creative and unique. Oh, what a kill! What a like just I, man. That's the one that gave me nightmares. You just see it so many times. You just like the heads. Yeah, it was so good. So that's it, guys. That's number one from 1984, Friday the 13th. All right, so that's it. So yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and again, subscribe, leave comments, thumbs up, all that good stuff, and all right. Until next time, guys. All right. See ya.